One of the things that people wrongly think when they were going through adversity is that I'm just stuck in the adversity and I can't really thrive. I can't really grow or vigorously mature or do well in the adversity. I have to wait till it's over and then I'll have this finished product. And that is a limiting, wrong mindset. Like, if all I'm going to do is be miserable until some circumstance changes, I have no power. I'm now a victim, right?
So what kind of emotional support did you receive from your family?
My dad would just make it real. Like, Seth, the best lose games. So he just normalized it, which I think that's a powerful thing, to normalize failure. Mm-hmm. Failure is it's normal. Now, what's not normal is repeating it over and over and not learning from it. That's toxic. There is an element of our culture that's gone so soft that's like, oh, come here, baby, come cry on my shoulder. It's like, you're not helping, you're crippling a kid.
Right.
You're training them what to do in adversity. Crumble, cry, melt down. Interesting.
I think one of the things that we don't do is listen. And that janitor listened. And he was aware of what Nick was going through. He could have just walked by and got a lot to do today.
And, kids, their body language is often bad. They're not learning how to have good body language. They're not learning social skills. So when you are around kids, they're usually on their technology, or they have a hoodie up and they're turned away and they're not interested because they haven't learned to socialize. Like, we have done them a disservice in our culture by handing them smartphones. Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I am so glad that you tuned in. We're going to have a great show. Just a reminder, before you get too comfortable, you can listen to this show anywhere podcasts are streamed. You can also watch this on our YouTube page at the 5-Star Life, or on our newest program partner channel. It's called Your Home TV. Go to yourhometv.com. All the archives are there. You can hit the subscribe button so that's delivered to your email inbox or to that app. Please do so. And also, if you like this, if you're a YouTuber, please like this. We're trying to gain a following there, and it's like a simple way. It's almost like a donation. It's like you're leveraging your influence so people understand the mission that you support or believe in or follow. So super grateful for that. Joined here with my co-host, Coach Mia. Welcome back.
Thank you. I want to go back to our conversation because I don't want people to misunderstand where we're going or where I think your heart is. Mm-hmm. We were talking about words. Seth and I pick a word every year. And the last 2 years, it was love, and then he had love part 2.
2 years of love.
2 years of love. And that's where your heart is, though.
Yeah.
Is truly, and our mission with kids is to teach them how to deal with conflict and do it respectfully, and have these conversations and not have to bring the militant, attitude into that. So I just wanted to come back to that.
I appreciate that. And that's good. A little context for people.
Yeah.
And on this whole thing, it's almost like the end of the first, month of the year. And I always take time, you take time, and I always choose a word that I want to learn about, I want to focus on. It's like a simple kind of high-arching, high-level way for me to learn about one area of my life I want to improve. And the last 2 years was love. And so you think about love, that is such a lost art in our society. Love is so secondary, even though like all the research in the world says like the number one thing that we need in our lives for health and longevity is love. Yet it's that Black Eyed Peas song should be like on repeat right now in our cars and our headphones. Like, where is the love? Like, all the problems going on in society, and we get so wrapped up in it. Mm-hmm. Which it ties into what we actually just taught in our lesson. It's so interesting. One of the things that people wrongly think when they were going through adversity is that, I'm just stuck in the adversity and I can't really thrive. I can't really grow or vigorously mature or do well in the adversity. I have to wait till it's over and then I'll have this finished product. And that is a limiting, wrong mindset. Like, if all I'm going to do is be miserable until some circumstance changes, I have no power. I'm now a victim, right?
Mm-hmm. And as we just witnessed, as we were trying to record, there's a lot of adversity. You know what I mean? You think you're over one, and there's another one right behind it. So you can't wait for it to be done, too.
Yeah. So hopefully parents and kids and educators that go through our video curriculum aren't listening to this show right now, because let me just say, we didn't do the recording in one take. It took us a little while.
Yes.
There was audio issues, technology issues, and then there was like speech issues from whoever was doing the lesson. The guy in the video, there was speech. He couldn't do his R's. R's were tough.
R's are hard.
They are hard. See, like that.
See?
It's still happening. I'm going to avoid R's. So anyways, what we just taught kids is you can thrive through adversity, and adversity is not the problem. Think about this. There are so many successful people in every area of life, every walk of life, anything that somebody wants to be successful in, there's somebody that's succeeding in that area, right? So, and the reality is they had to go through all kinds of adversity to get there.
But why do we think that they did not? Like, why do you look at some people and you're like, what'd they go through?
Jacked up mindset. We don't live in reality.
No.
We don't live in reality.
Or is it because that person does not portray any sign of adversity?
Well, that's because we're not looking for it.
Yeah.
Like if you talk to them and start asking questions, you'll hear about the adversity. You'll learn how they overcame it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have you in an ivory tower, that everything was handed to you, which, by the way, most kids look at every adult who has any level of success that way. Like, must be nice to be you, right?
Right.
And as adults, like we know neuroscience proves that the average adult has the emotional quotient or emotional maturity of a 13-year-old. So we as adults, we also do the same thing. We think people that have succeeded, for the most part, we think they had some good luck, some good breaks, and that's, for us, it's not fair. Must be nice to be them. And so that's just wrong. It's not true. And I think when we can latch onto that idea that if they did it, I can do it too, and they went through some stuff, the more probably questions we'd ask people in our lives that are succeeding instead of being jealous or frustrated or hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, adversity is not the problem. The problem with adversity is we get stuck in the adversity. Like the adversity, whatever it is. In the lesson, I talk about, like, in my junior year, I was playing in the conference championship game, and I took the last second shot, and I actually got blocked. And it was this tough situation. It was brutal. It was miserable, but it was a moment. And that moment, if I would have relived it, which I was tempted to relive it and replay it over and over, going into the next game, into sectionals, into championships, I could have let that moment become another moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true with breakups, same is true with failure, with anything that goes on that's adverse. The problem is not the moment. The problem is what we do with the moment. And when we let it emotionally and mentally become a cycle that we fall into, now we've created this toxic pain cycle that we look over across the other side of the tracks and we see somebody else that's not in that cycle that went through the same thing. We think, well, that must be nice to be them on the other side.
So when you say a cycle, is it like the pain cycle, like you just keep remembering that adversity?
Yeah. I mean, that's our reason to stay stuck. Like, this is what happened. And so, and sometimes it's learned behavior. I mean, co-regulation, maybe, I lost the game, but then I talked to my parents, talked to some of my teammates, and we talked through it. And I got some emotional support for that. And that felt good. And it helped me get back on track. If I'm not careful, I might wrongly try to regurgitate that when I'm feeling a little insecure, to bring that up to get the same support, the same empathy, the same sympathy. And if I'm not careful, then every time I'm down, my brain will say, hey, you know where to go to get support. Complain a little bit and you'll get support. And so some of that can take place and that can create the cycle.
Yeah.
Or just whatever. The memory of seeing a basketball can just trigger the last time I touched it, and that will trigger it, right?
Can I ask you something? So what kind of emotional support did you receive from your family?
You know what? They just were like, oof, tough game. We're sorry, And, everybody, my dad would just make it real. He'd talk about, Michael Jordan, because I was playing in the Jordan era.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's missed so many game winners. Like Seth, the best lose games. So he just normalized it, which I think that's a powerful thing, to normalize failure.
Mm-hmm.
Failure is it's normal. Now, what's not normal is repeating it over and over and not learning from it.
Right.
That's toxic.
No, I ask because I think that's important as a parent, is how you give that to your child. You know, moms want to just come here, let everybody cry.
Yeah.
Right? Jim was a big one. You don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
The court is not the place to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls were like, "Oh, I'm going to kill dad." Like if he says that one more time. But you know what? It was like, it's not, for him, that was like, that's not the time. You know what? We're going to go home and we're going to talk through this.
Yeah. And that's great parenting and great leadership, because falling apart on the court is, you're going to let your team down. You're going to let everybody down because you're not in the game. You got to keep your head in the game,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many people that wrongly think about that. Well, that's not being empathetic. Well, that's not this. And there is an element of our culture that's gone so soft that's like, oh, come here, baby. Come here,
Mm-hmm.
baby. Come cry on my shoulder. And it's like, you're not helping. You're crippling a kid.
Right.
You're training them what to do in adversity. Crumble, cry, melt down. Interesting.
It is.
So we're going to take another commercial break. And at the break, if this has been helpful, I really want to encourage you to like this episode, share it with a friend, or if you're listening by radio, text them and tell them to tune in. Also, if you like some of the content we're talking about, and you can think of the kids in your lives, whether they're in grade school, middle school, or high school, we have a 5-Star Life app, and we have all these different master classes that teaches all of these concepts, and they're in bite sizes made for you to do with the family. So check that out at the break. At 5-Star Life, we talk a lot about the right tools. See, the hammer is the courage to be the best person you can be. The chisel is the respect you give and the respect you earn. The level, that's the integrity that keeps you balanced in a world that's always shifting. And the saw represents responsibility. It is what separates you from harmful actions and experience. It's the sacrifice it takes to work hard and be your best. Tools, when they're all used together, things are built. There's progress. But where there are no tools, there can be no progress. We give these important tools to kids every single day, and we couldn't do it without our partners like Global Link Distribution. Global Link supports this mission so that these values, courage, respect, integrity, responsibility, and sacrifice become the tools these amazing young people use to become great. Global Link Distribution is a leader and supplier to the RV, manufactured housing, cabinet shop, cargo, and horse trailer industries, but they're also a proud sponsor of this program to help 5-Star Life students thrive. It is our turn to see to it that our children have the tools that build greatness. Volunteer or donate today at 5starlife.org. Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I'm your host, Coach Seth, joined in studio with my co-host, Coach Mia. And if you just tuned in, make sure, please help us out. Hit that subscribe button, that share button. And if you're new, if you've not checked out our website, 5starlife.org, there are so many ways that you can bring 5-Star to your community, to your school, or to get involved personally, volunteering or donating. So it's a new year. I don't know what your giving goals is. I'm not sure what impact you want to have on society, but in the first segment, we talked about what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with America, and how it's like spiraling. And what can change that? I think I have an answer to that.
Tell us.
Well, think about this. If we could truly challenge and teach kids to learn how to think critically and how to engage their brain and to look at every side of the picture, 360 degrees. And if we could teach kids the empathetic skills and the social skills that they could sit across from someone else and they could truly listen, unbiased listening, to truly understand, not to talk, not to convince, but to understand. What would that do to our society? What would it do to our culture if people had those two skills?
It would, my gosh, as you're saying that, I'm thinking if kids could learn that, because I mean, we all know there's so many adults that don't have that skill,
Right.
unfortunately, because they didn't learn it earlier. So my gosh, it would change the world.
We want to change the world.
Yeah.
We're on a mission to change the world, and we need everybody on board. We need your help. This platform right here is an amazing way to share what we're doing. But again, this is where you sharing this episode, this podcast, sharing our mission, or getting involved, it's where it has to go. I'm doing everything that I know in my power to change this culture, to change and transform students. I'm doing everything I can. And this is, please don't take this as pressure. It's not pressure. I'm just passionate. We can turn this around, but it takes everybody getting involved in the ways that they can. And there's so many ways, whether it's again, donating, volunteering, or just sharing it, just spreading the news. That would be huge. All right. This is a fun show. We're talking about how to thrive through adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And adversity is going to hit all of us. It's going to happen. It's not a question of whether, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. How will we handle adversity? And how, to our listening audience, how have you taught your kids to handle adversity? That's the series we're filming right now. That's what thousands of kids will go through. And it's not about survival. Most people just want to survive adversity. But again, anybody and everybody who has succeeded, every story goes the same way. They have a vision, they have a dream. Boom, adversity hits. And what happens? That adversity becomes what? The springboard and the catalyst for what? Thriving. That's the story of successful people, period. Everybody that's like, I don't want to hear about thriving through adversity, I just want to survive. Then that is the recipe for mediocrity and for staying stuck. That is the recipe, period.
And the numbers of the successful people that have beat adversity, I mean, it's like astronomical of how many times they had to, do something, or, like how many free throws did Michael Jordan shoot, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like you have to add those details too, because it wasn't just like, oh, made it. No, it's like they faced it.
And that's a great point, because I think what happens, we hear this, I forget it, I'm probably going to jack this up, but you always hear that people give up just one adversity before the breakthrough.
Mm.
Like Edison. Think about if he would have given up at 9,999 attempts at the light bulb. Think about that. Somebody else would have taken his research, would have taken his lab, and they would have came in and boom, he would have missed out on all that adversity, and he would have missed out on the fruit of it. And that's the message to kids in the world is adversity can bury you or build you. And anybody that is successful, they use it to build them. The problem is we give up too quick.
Mm-hmm. And I think we also judge people who use it, like as a parent, you're like, try again, keep trying, go practice free throws, do whatever you have to do to, improve that skill that you failed with. Because, those parents that are like, oh my gosh, like give the kid a break. But
it's interesting. I was, who Nick Vujicic is? Nick
Yes.
Vujicic. He's the guy that has no arms, no legs.
Mhm.
He's born that way. And he said that when he was 8 years old, he was like depressed, anxious, like he just didn't want to live. 8 years old, because of his condition. He was bullied. He was made fun of. I mean, it was like, can you imagine that?
Oh my gosh.
And his parents said, you've got to try this. And he said, my parents forced me to try things. Try this. We're going to try to swim. We're going to try to do this. And they just kept pushing him. And eventually it started to catch on. And he realized, like, I am going to do everything and anything that everybody else does. I'm going to swim. I'm going to drive. I'm going to have a career. I'm going to get, because literally at 8-year-olds, think about this. Think about the trauma that he went through. What 8-year-old is thinking about, like, I'm never going to get married or have a job? 8-year-olds are not thinking that way. That's how intense his trauma was. He's thinking, I'm never going to have that. I'm never going to do that. And the guy is, he's like been to like, I don't know, he's spoken to like 20 million people, written 5 books, traveled the world, been to 60 countries, met 20 world leaders, like so influential and impactful
Mm-hmm.
and impacting kids. Married to a beautiful woman, 4 kids, like his life. He could have ended his life, or he could be homeless or in a puddle somewhere in the fetal position. It's the examples are everywhere.
They are. And you know what? It always goes back to the parent. Like those people in those situations had incredible parents. And, as a parent, you pray that, man, I hope that, I would have done the same thing if I had a child in that same situation. But
Well, I think on the parenting side, fear is a major factor that, and we've all been there. My kids have been in situations where fear can get you, and then you offer really bad parenting advice, or you react wrongly because you're so afraid, and your fear it's transmitted to them, and then they think, "Oh my gosh, what have I done? This is the end. This is really bad. If my parents are freaking out, this is really bad." Instead of like operating in that place of love, and that's something I talk to parents all the time about. We can parent from one of 2 places, out of love or out of fear. And when we go back to love, when our kids fail or make mistakes, usually we're really afraid for them. And often that comes from a place of shame too, because we feel responsible. And so fear pipes in and you feel responsible and you're blaming yourself. And so now you're taking that on them and you feel this pressure and it snowballs and then we don't handle it right. And if we can just step back into love and into peace and just know like, oh my gosh, that has to hurt them. I'm so sorry for them, but I love them and they're going to be okay. And get back to love. What would love suggest in this moment? Love would say, you know what? Love never gives up. Love never loses hope. Love always perseveres. It always trusts. It always believes. Like that's love.
mm-hmm.
And when we can get there, the parenting solutions that flow out of love are so powerful and foundational at those benchmarks in kids' lives, those benchmark failures. When you can insert yourself in a loving place, all of a sudden, something that could be really traumatic, it becomes a little blip on the radar because they're like, okay, I'm going to be okay. Yeah, I failed, but failure is normal. And I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to be okay. My parents aren't freaking out. They're supporting me. That I was blessed to have parents that parented that way. So I learned
Mm-hmm.
that adversity is not the end.
Sure.
It's like, oh, that was bad. That was tough. But how are we going to fix it? Powerful.
So I'm going to plug our app here because you do such a great series for parents, and it's in our app. And that was just perfect for me to.
Yeah. So yes, with this whole parenting series is a game changer. There's 7 lessons that I went through research, went through 20 years of what we've done with parents and kids, and said if we could condense and create a parenting course that is in bite-sized chunks, there's 6 to 7 minute lessons, and there's notes to go through it to process it, which you got to go through the notes, do the whole thing, like take 30 minutes once a week and go through this with your spouse or by yourself. It will be a game changer for you personally and how you parent and for your kids. All right, Mia, it's been a fun show.
It has been.
We're out of time. Thank you for tuning in and really want to encourage you to go to 5starlife.org. Go check our app out. It's if you're an iPhone user, go to the App Store. It's 5 Star Life or the Google Play Store if you're an Android user. See you next week.